This is the image I created before coming to class that sort of embodied many of my questions. It had to do with how I interpret clients' art and feeling a little bit unsure and scattered. Do I pull it? Do I twist it? Do I push it? Do I stretch it? Do I hold it? Do I flip it? Do I spin it? Do I interpret it? Do I invite the client to interpret it? What the heck do I do with all this? This image was the first image we created once in Edmonton on the first day of class about what our intentions were for the week. This for me it's about weaving. It's kind of emerged. It's like weaving in all the different types of knowledge and information and how to put it together in a way that makes sense for me with my different experiences and a way that fits for me. Transitions. The word transition makes me think about death. I work in palliative care and we often talk about the client transitioning or dying. And as I created this, I think the elements of water and fire and wind came to mind, a sense of destruction. When I look at my pieces collectively, I think about often there is some sort of event like a fire or a storm or something that comes in and moves us into transition. Once we're moved into transition, there's a sense of an explosion or a leaking or a bleeding out that can occur to help us essentially kind of dissolve and disintegrate the old way of being. There's a death, there's a moving, an ending, a dissolving. But eventually the dissolving allows for new growth, a stronger, firmer, more integrated way of being that blocks out the old ways of existing. Themes that came up in my artwork were around, I think, like molecules and blood and DNA and vessels. And I think it showed a lot in different pieces I made. But I think for me, it's collectively about like, even maybe thinking of transference of like my family transference, generational trauma, clearing, transitioning, moving through my own blood. Expanding on a particular section really kind of blew up the emotion that was there. I appreciated the mindfulness exercise with the wood because I kind of see like this dancing being or this angel or kind of like this divine presence, or I think maybe even dancing it out, like dancing this energy out of myself really resonates for me. It's something I've been thinking a lot about, and it really is a releasing of what is within. For this check-in, we were asked to create a color that represents how we're feeling. For me, what emerged was sort of like this gray energy, this gray cloud. I was feeling sick this day. I woke up feeling, I've shaken loose a lot of that emotion, and even in the cells, there was a lot of gray leaking out of it. I think I really kind of opened it up and shook it loose in my body. So I was feeling sort of like this gray heaviness. I was purposely swirling it around, almost trying to move it out of my body as I did that. Feeling heavy, feeling gray, congested, all that old sort of trauma shook loose. So I needed some containment, so I offered, this is something I do with my clients, kind of offered it a bigger piece of paper with some containment. I imagined creating a prayer and calling in some grandmothers, some energy guides, some spirit helpers to help me hold this and to bring some love. I slowly went around the piece saying a prayer and kind of calming myself, letting it be soothed. After doing this, I noticed immediately my congestion lightened. I had more energy. I wasn't feeling so heavy. There was some movement within my body. There was more flow restored. Truly, I was amazed of how my congestion disappeared. Being the client, an angry male client, was actually quite fun. I think I was able to stay in character quite well, but I think it also just helped me release some of my own pent-up anger and frustration and just energy I was carrying. Even role-playing, it allowed it to kind of emerge and explode out of me. I think I made about 5 different pieces. I crumpled paper. I got to rage a little bit, and then I was eventually brought back into a place of self-soothing with the breathing with the yellow. I was able to calm myself. Transcendence, one of my favorite topics. Transcendence feels like a remembering, a uniting of the divine in oneself and the world around me. I notice the beauty, the strength, the spirit, and the divinity of the tree. I am the tree. I become the tree. She is me. We are the same. We are united, connected, meeting each other in our spirit and become one in togetherness. Then I forget. I forget about divinity and transcendence, and I move into my human nature. I may not even notice the tree. I'm definitely not connected to the tree. There's a forgetting of my own divinity and the divinity in the world around me. The tree is plain, boring, barely noticeable. It's in the background. There's nothing around it. Nothing's connected. It just exists. And then once again, I remember how beautiful the tree is, how beautiful life is, how beautiful all of it is, how it makes sense, how I feel so connected and in awe and amazed. And I can't believe the beauty of life. And I enjoy it until I forget it again.